Lecture topic: Careful and cautious.
Sometimes the actions that are done can have very major consequences, but a person doesn't realize where this can lead to. A very senior alim here in South Africa passed away a few years back. He studied in India maybe about more than 50 years ago. So I happened to meet his son a few days ago, so he was giving me one incident of his father. Very senior person he was. You see, the Madrasah he was studying in India, there was some problem and some students started striking. Now this is a thing that is hard to fathom, that in a Madrasah where people have come to acquire Deen and get carried away with how others conduct themselves in other places and decide to follow the way of the people who have got no understanding of Deen whatsoever, perhaps no Iman as well, and to try and emulate their ways in a Madrasah. It means that such a person has got no understanding of what Deen is all about. He doesn't know what he came to a Madrasah for. So in any case, this particular thing started happening. So he started advising some of the students around him that, look, this is a thing to be far away from, don't be part of this at all. Not everybody that was involved in it was a group of people, but they were now trying to incite others to get involved in it as well. So because he became actively involved in trying to discourage students getting involved in this, so some students decided that they are going to come and assault him late at night. He somehow got to know about this, and he overnight he took permission from the admin and he left the madrasa and he went away, and then he took admission in another place. So that was the end of that chapter in terms of his incident and involvement. Then he says about maybe a long time later, that was a few years before he passed away. So now he had studied more than 50 years prior in India, so it must have been about 45 years later, that or whatever time that he passed, that he now was back in India in Jamaat, and in one masjid, one person comes to him and he asks him, can you recognize me? So he couldn't recognize him at all. So he says, no, I recognized you and I know you. So he says, how you know me? So he says, so many years back, we were studying in this madrasa, you were there as well, I was also there. Then he is explaining that the incident that took place at that time, and then you left overnight, I was one of the people in the front lines. I was one of the people right in the front lines of it. And he says, then whatever happened, happened. And then I went so badly off track for 40 years, I didn't make one Salah. For 40 years, I didn't make one Salah. He says, just now, recently, Allah's tawfiq, I got back onto track. I'm out in Jamaat for the first time after all this whole long time in between. This is for 40 years, I didn't make one Salah, and I attribute it only to my involvement in this matter. Now, at that time, he probably was thinking of himself as a hero, that he is somebody can show what his might is, how brave he can be, and how daring he is, and he can take the whole admin of the madrasa on, and he can do this and the other. So all those things were at the top of his head at that time, that he is somebody, he can do something, and who's there to challenge him. But then this hits back sometimes so badly that a person doesn't know where it hit from. It doesn't even come to his senses. Allah's fazal that he came to his senses, though after 40 years. Sometimes people don't come to their senses till death. So now this is how dangerous sometimes these things can be. For that moment, it seems like, well, I also have a voice. I can also make it heard. And I can't be told to do whatever people want to tell me. I need to also stand for my ground. All these things come to the mind at that time. That's purely from Shaitan. Now a person has a choice either to listen to the Shaitani whispers, or has a choice to do that which is going to make him progress in his deen. It's going to keep his iman secure, going to keep the tawfiq of Allah Ta'ala coming towards him. So he's got that choice. So now he chooses his ego over humility. So now the ego has never taken anybody forward. It has always dropped people. But for that moment, he is in a deception that I am now somebody, for that moment. But after that moment has passed, then he is either 10 steps backwards, or 100 steps backwards, or sometimes is already now on the brink of falling. So this is a very delicate path. It's a far more delicate path than doing the same type of thing out in some school or university. One is if a person is doing some kind of procedure, operation or something on somebody's finger. So now if there was some small little mistake in how that procedure was done, it's not going to be something serious. They'll patch it up without much difficulty. But the heart surgeon is doing some heart surgery and he makes a similar kind of small little wrong nick. It can be the death of the person. Person is doing some spine surgery. One person got paralyzed. By mistake, they slightly nicked one small nerve. Now a person in a madrasa acquiring deen is in a very delicate position, not the same like being elsewhere. The thing somebody might do elsewhere might cause minimal damage to him. The same thing done in a deeni institution where a person has come to acquire deen, that the consequences can be 1,000 times worse. So we have to be very cautious, very careful, think what we're doing, and we don't get carried away with ideas that are completely foreign to deen, foreign to ilm of deen, got no truck with deen at all. And always bear in mind, think before we do things, think before we say things, because then sometimes they say it comes back to bite. Forget coming back to bite, it crushes one sometime right there also. Allah Ta'ala save us.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है।